It's almost vest weather, Matt. It's getting pretty hot here.
Vest weather.
So think about it
Everybody
daily.
enjoy the scorcher.
I actually thought
a
about
couple of
wearing
days ago.
Scorcher?
Yeah, a couple of days ago we had like a really holiday weekend.
Oh, really? Yeah, and then no one's outside. Wisconsin must be so depressed right now.
Everyone was outside.
I think people in Wisconsin were.
I was stuck at work and like my workplace had this like last year like gaming
They weren't ready for it.
It was nice, but my god, I sweat a lot.
The Japanese people don't
Alright.
really use
And we
deodorant.
are officially live.
Oh no.
so trains before they turn the air on, because they turn the air on like at a specific time, very like
Regimented.
very regimented. It's a very Japanese style of doing those things. They don't just say like it's kind of hot today, let's turn it on. It's like, well, no, but it's not June 2nd. We can't turn the air on. And so you have people sitting there holding the rings when they're on the train. It's like, oh god.
Yeah.
Oh man, that surprises me.
Yeah, it's
Keith,
it's
do you want to give us the intro?
For the very last time. Before we do the intro, we need to sort out something that happened a couple of days ago.
Yep.
Well, in fact, yesterday, where Liam commented on the quality of my arse. Frankly, I was slightly taken aback, but it is a very fine arse. Liam, where were you, and why were you staring at my fine arse?
I mean, quite frankly, I rate all my friendships on the quality of their arse, if I'm being honest. But yeah, it's actually surprising how much your arse looked like a woman's arse. I'm just going to put that out there, Keith. Yeah.
But not just any, the perfectly shaped video game woman's arse.
Yeah, it's like someone modelled it.
Yeah. Someone at Epic Games.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Liam and I were playing Fortnite.
This all makes a lot more sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I get it.
Dan was going to play Fortnite, but then he remembered that he can only be allowed to have one Epic game on his PS4 at any one time.
It's a good rule
so
to have.
that's why Dauntless is installed and not Fortnite. BTW, if you've got Twitch Prime, there's a Dauntless pack that you can get for free.
I will get that right now.
Just go online, get the code, plug it in, and away you go. Yes, we are soon not to be the Beerumverate, a group of guys from Sifted who are here to talk about good games and good beer and video games. We try and drink as responsibly as we can. We mainly use receptacles to store the drink in. I think that's pretty responsible, really, rather than just cupping it in your hands. That wouldn't be be responsible at all.
I stopped doing that. Yeah, it's not good.
Yeah.
Bless you.
Bless you.
No sneezing during the intro. Fuck is going on? There's no respect from some people. Yeah. We're going to talk about games, and then we're going to talk about our rebranding exercise. Anyone got any beers? I don't care how you are, really. I know how everyone is, and you all said you were okay, so I'm not going to ask how everyone is because I've already done it. I just kind of pass a cursory glance around everyone. Everyone looks all right. No one's lost a limb or anything.
Not yet.
Anyone driven 500 miles to drop off a relative at a vulnerable parent's house? Because
No, I did do a 90-mile round trip to work yesterday on the bus.
On the bus. Did you have a face mask?
It's very close.
Did indeed. I will upload the photo into the Discord chat later today to show you my image at 6 a.m. on the bus.
Oh, yeah, 6 a.m. Jesus. I'm really not looking forward to going back to the days of having to get up before 6 to get on a train.
Oh God. Yeah. Don't remind me.
Right. So anyone got any beers?
I have a beer.
Well done. What is it? Tell us about it. Describe it. You've been reading. Pause. The name of the guy who wrote your tasting beer notes book that you posted a photograph of earlier. That name's got to be fake. Randy Mosher.
Apparently, he's like one of the best. He's quite knowledgeable on the topic of beer and all things about beer. Yeah, I actually never really. Yeah, that is his name. Yeah, I don't know.
I take it he might be American.
Randy Mosher. Yeah, he's probably American. It's quite possible. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he does a huge chunk of that book is obviously about the history of it, and a very small portion of it is about American beers. So he did his homework. He didn't cheat. Didn't he gave it its due. He gave it its history and talked about.
Do you think when Randy Mosher talks about himself, he refers to himself as Randy Mosher?
The Mosh.
That's the Mosh. That's how he refers to himself.
It's time for the mosh pit. It means when he gets really fucking lit. Mosh pit time.
The slosher.
The slosher. Mosh the slosh.
Mosher the slosher.
This is gonna get to the point of like dog nicknames. Like your dog is like a regular name, but like 5 months into it, you call it something that doesn't even make any sense. Like, oh, Daisy Wazy Dumpkins. You're like, what? Why do I call my dog that? Nothing that special. It's again, like all the big beers, it's just a Pilsner. It's limited. A lot of those fake stickers going around recently. But Sapporo is in Hokkaido. It's a area known for beer. But while I pour this, I'm not going to talk about the beer. I'll tell you a very short story. I was walking today, and there were a bunch of turtles on a rock in a lake. This is actually true. So Her Majesty said, "Oh, hey, what are the names of the Ninja Turtles again?" And before I told her, I had a great idea of saying, "How about you tell me what you think they are?" She's like, "All right." She's like, "Michelangelo." It's like, "All right, that's a really good start. That's correct. What are the other ones?" She said, "Well, what are the initials? What do they start with?" I said, "Well, R, L, and D." She was like, "All right, Ricardo, Lambden, and my favorite, Donalo." So there you go.
Now my new favorite turtle.
Yeah.
Donalo. Okay.
Yeah, so there you go. Michelangelo, Lambden, Ricardo, and Donalo.
That's kind of close, actually. It's closer than Landon.
Yeah. Yeah. That was actually...
It would be interesting as well is to ask any of us to name any Japanese artist from the 13th, 14th, 15th, or 16th century.
Oh, totally. You flip the table, we lose like 100% of the time.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But the turtles are in a league of their own.
Yeah.
Not the artists from Europe who painted some of the greatest masterpieces in history. Those turtles, they're the ones who rock.
Yeah. It's all about the TMNT.
The famous inventor and sculptor, Donalo.
Donalo.
I learned about him in history class. Yeah, pale straw, bit of maltiness, a bit more fizzy than it should be. I don't know. Your average go-to Pilsner.
Anyone else?
Lager.
No, just Yorkshire tea.
Dan,
Yorkshire tea,
you don't have beers?
good tea. China tea, as it's also known as.
Water.
Brewdog.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
Oh yeah, that's good.
Brewdog Hazy Jane IPA.
Did they change their graphic design on their
Ever
bottles?
so slightly, but they haven't.
Yeah.
I have tried a couple of their beers. There's one that I will never ever have, which is the Elvis juice, because it's beer flavored with grapefruit.
Weird.
It's called
I like the Elvis juice.
It's called Elvis juice.
Yeah. They actually sell it here, surprisingly. Brewdog's been getting quite popular in Japan. I've seen more and more shelf space taken up by Brewdog.
Very hazy.
Yeah.
Did you see the BrewDog CEO called out that minister, or not minister, advisor in question today?
All comes full
We talked
circle.
about earlier, which is quite interesting.
This is very light drinking, surprisingly fruity,
Ooh.
with only a kind of slight bitterness at the end. Oh, embrace the opaque.
I can get behind that.
Or it's of course it's vegan. It's got the vegan symbol on it. Yay!
What's the ABV?
It's only 5%, so it's not particularly strong. I was going to pick up one of theirs, and then I saw it 7.5%, and I thought, no, I'm not going to do that.
Gotta go for those sesh beers, brah.
Yeah.
Wonder if there's any keto-friendly IPA. I doubt it, but
Kettle-friendly or cattle-friendly?
no, keto.
Keto.
Yeah.
Oh, keto friendly.
Yeah, keto.
I don't know.
No, BrewDog has one. I just can't remember the name of it.
Lost Lager.
Your
Lost Lager,
Evan,
that's one, yeah.
your Japanese beer is gluten free, isn't it?
Oh, I
I was
don't
reading
know.
a lot. We came up in a quiz, and they were talking about different types of Japanese brewers all brew gluten free randomly.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah.
Yes.
They use rice instead.
That might depend on the beer. I don't think
Okay.
this
I was curious,
beer
that's what I was
has
asking.
rice in it, but a lot of the Japanese beers are made with with rice.
I feel like most American domestics have some type of rice mixture that they use as well.
No, it's corn, isn't it?
Well, they do
Just put
corn and
and
rice,
everything.
yeah.
Does it? Budweiser's notably, right?
Budweiser's
Rice.
an adjunct lager.
Interesting.
I think Miller is too.
Nice to keep the price down, isn't it? Because rice is way cheaper than.
I don't know that it's
hops
necessarily
and
for the price. I mean, it definitely helps, but
A lot of that stuff, even in Japan as well, is it's like because of taxing, they move stuff around.
yeah.
Ingredients, yeah.
Interesting.
Well, yep.
Well, this is a low key Beerumverate.
Well, do you want to know why I'm feeling a bit low key, and not just because I'm really fucking tired at the moment? I have not been enjoying this piecemeal summer of everyone's saying it's going to be great. We're going to have a summer of games, and we've had 3 presentations so far. 3 or 4.
There was another one this week, wasn't there?
They're all pretty much meh in the grand scale of things.
I like the Epic Games one.
I like the Epic Game one. I didn't mind even the PlayStation Shakira. I know that wasn't summer.
I've already gone through why those both are trash. So we've moved on from there. Well, you all agreed with me. I distinctly remember everyone agreeing with me. And yes, I don't know. It's just that I feel as though my ability to get hyped for any of this stuff is so much lessened because of the kind of piecemeal nature that everything is happening in.
Do you think because we've moved away from the E3 model of this year because of the coronavirus and elsewhere, not a lot of the crap that we're seeing would just get lost in the shuffle? And now it's all being highlighted and hyped up, and you're just like, oh, I don't really care for this.
That's what I wanted
And
to say.
actually, it's making it worse rather than better.
Because then you could just like do a media blackout for the whole month, and only at the end of a month check out whatever they announced and just decide for yourself what's important and not. But now every announcement, it sounds like this big deal, you know, and it is it's in its own way. But like every week and every 3-4 days, they announce something and they hype it so much more. So yeah, it can be tiring to follow everything in this manner.
Social media. Hey, everyone, tune in at this time for the reveal that's going to break the internet of all the reveals of video games ever. And then you tune in. It's kind of, yeah, that was right.
I mean, they did something with Valorant, killing an interviewer, you know, and in a way, this also sucks because then you go into the comments and see people disappointed, and it kind of brings the whole thing down. Like you harvest all this negativity around each and every small announcement, which isn't really great for smaller developers. Whereas if you have only one event and it has everything, like smaller titles, medium titles, big AAAs, as you said, Dan, it gets lost in all the news, and those smaller things don't exactly attract that much negativity.
I also think so many people might be trying to get into this E3 atmosphere that just doesn't exist now. So they're over hyping themselves, regardless of what the companies that are releasing this stuff are saying on social media. But I just think, one part of that is maybe we want this to be some sort of like E3 event, and if you have a single video, it's just not going to have that same feeling.
Benefit of having a larger event is the stuff that you don't care about, just sort of you forget about. And
it's like,
you pick and choose the stuff that's like, oh yeah, I'm really excited about that. But having like little events spaced over time, it's like there's fewer stuff to pick out and say like, oh, like I'm really excited about that. So I think
it's also easier to miss.
Yeah, I didn't even know that Epic Games had one until you guys mentioned it right now. I was like,
I didn't know that either.
You can now hide the replies to tweets, so that's a good thing for it. Like if something attracts too much negativity.
Michael, thank you for recognizing my reason for being on this show, is to make sure everyone, all of your hype is kind of brought down a notch. So I'd like to thank myself. I accept this role with great humility. No, I fucking don't. I'm great at this. Just drag everyone else down to my level. Join me like that, bitches.
I somewhat reject the idea that the summer of gaming changes anything in particular, because like before, when we had E3, we'd just have like a couple of weeks of big game announcements, before Judges Week, which is like where the press go and play all of the games that are going to be at E3. And then we have E3 and everything takes place in a year. And I'm like, well, developers are just going to put all of their games in all of the big events anyway. They're not gonna announce them like next week or the week after. They're just gonna wait and announce them during Sony's event or during Microsoft's event in July.
Yeah.
And so what happens is you get, instead of, I don't know, a few weeks of pre-hype and then one big week of strong events, or sometimes middling, you get like 4 months of people hyping everything to shit and the exact same sort of amount of content. I mean, maybe a little bit more this year because of next gen, but I don't think it's just like, it doesn't respect your time, because I like the idea of having 1 week of the year where I can really sink into gaming news, and then the rest of the year I can worry about other things that are far more important.
And like Matt had said, and I didn't know about this Epic thing, some stuff will fall through the cracks because you can't be paying attention to every single piecemeal that's going to be delivered throughout the week. Like when is this stuff? Because I mean, there's a time schedule for E3. Yeah, and there's a time schedule for E3, and the people will put up online. You can check a giant calendar with every single time zone for the week of E3.
Yeah.
You can take a snapshot and keep that, and you know exactly what's going to be shown in here. It's like I don't know. They're breaking stuff off. It's like the fucking Catholic Church. There's all these sects and breaking stuff off, and then I don't even know what you believe anymore.
It's still a good thing because they brought everything under one umbrella. I mean, if I imagine it would have been even hard to follow everything that gets announced, and they just gave a name to the whole thing, so you can go to the Summer of Games Twitter account and just follow that, and if you want to stay updated, you can just
something like Summer of Games Episode 1, or you gotta label it somehow so we know.
Well,
because I agree, it should have been like more concentrated, more focused.
It seems like Jeff's acquiring things as he goes. That's what it feels like. There's a few events that are like set in stone, but as the weeks go by, people are obviously he's like Like,
It's like
because
a
it's
work
not.
in
It seems.
progress.
Yeah, and that's the issue. So then, one, you got 2 days notice for one thing, and you a month notice for another thing. The other thing I would say is, like we were saying, with the 3 day or the 5 days of E3, if you like a niche game and it's coming out, you can find information about that game, but it's not over everyone's Twitter and it's not being hyped by everyone. So then things that I'm not interested in, but I'm like, oh, maybe this will be good. I would never have seen it at E3. I'm then wasting half an hour and going, actually, I'm not interested in that at all because of the hype level on social media for every little piece of content.
I think this happens because it happened like everything happens so fast. Because usually when Keighley, for instance, plans the Game Awards, like he uses like the whole year to plan, and probably it's the same case with E3. But now that all of a sudden E3 is not happening anymore, like everyone can only put up announcements at their own pace. They are not organized anymore. So yeah, at least for this half of year, I think, because we're like towards the summer, maybe Keighley will have managed to make like proper events, bigger events. But right now, at the beginning of summer, I think it's just all like everything he can get and like make weekly announcements.
Well, the one thing that may come of this that will improve the state of the world is maybe Ubisoft don't have Just Dance in their presentation.
But you gotta have Just Dance. Come on.
I love that cringy shit.
I'm really curious to see how they are doing the dancing. They will have it.
I like how
I'm
they
betting
decided
on-
like we care about that giant panda. It's like no one cares. No one gives a shit. Like,
But
hey, we
there
brought
is
him
giant-
back for another year. It's like, well, was he in there last year?
That there will be people dancing in their houses. I don't know, they'll
A
do
giant
some
Zoom
montage.
dance off.
Oh my
Yeah.
I want to see it. Oh yeah.
So
Oh.
they are going to have like a feature related to this in their next
will.
Just Cause. Like you can dance with people online. Like probably you could.
No.
I don't know, but
No.
you can actually see their room, or I don't know. They'll do something about it.
Yeah, you got. I mean, you got to have Just Dance. It's like
Yeah,
the worst
it's
name
not
of a sitcom ever.
Next gen Just Dance with everyone in your lounge.
Starring
Yeah.
Ellen DeGeneres.
Oh god.
All the lounges
Oh my
in the
God.
world. Yeah, I don't know. It may just be me and my level of kind of general cynicism and lack of enthusiasm for quite a lot of things going on at the moment, but I just can't find myself getting excited to, because there's no major sporting event happening. So round about this time, we should be getting the newspapers coming out with the Euro 2020 calendars of all the games being on. I cannot be asked to go and look up when all of these fucking different shows are going on, because they're all different. They're all in different places.
Yeah.
No one seems to have pulled them all together in one coherent list and say, here's the stuff that Jeff Keighley's doing, and here's the dates and times and time zones. Here's all the stuff that's happening independently. Here's all the different dates and time zones. I just do not have the patience to go and
Maybe
draw
we should be
myself
doing
a
this.
calendar.
Oh no,
But
that's the
even
problem. I'm
with
pretty sure-
Sifted too, even with something like Sifted, we still can't piece it together. That's a problem.
Maybe we should do it.
I'm pretty sure though. I'm pretty sure they don't know
Original
exactly
content
when
from
their
whatever we
events
create today.
Yeah.
The summer plan.
Right, get on that. Dan, you've just given yourself a task. I hope you know that.
So,
No, I think I have.
happen. I'm pretty sure the one issue with that is they don't have plans
No.
right.
set up yet. I mean,
If you
like
have a working document,
apparently Sony's event was supposed to be on the 4th of June, but apparently it's been delayed slightly. So you know they can't even announce something
Well,
because
Sony
they
have
don't
not
know
announced it.
exactly.
So
Yeah,
it's all
exactly.
rumor until Sony actually say they're actually going to do an event.
I mean,
all bluster.
it's been talked about by pretty like good journalists, you know, that know what they're talking about.
I've
but-
seen it bubbling up for the last week or so.
But
It's getting
I
me
mean,
excited.
everybody
was the
seems
rumor
pretty
it was the
sure.
5th of May. At one stage, there was the rumor that it was the 5th of May, and then it was
Yeah,
the 4th of
nobody
June.
believes
and-
that.
Maybe
though.
they
Yeah,
are.
it'll be the 10th of July.
Those didn't come from journalists. You know, they came
No,
from
yeah.
people with, you know, a 4chan account or something.
Maybe they'll announce it within 1 week, like 1 week notice
you'd
period,
hope,
and then like next week we're going to have, I don't know. because they did the same with the recent state of play.
That's true. They gave a week
And
notice.
I don't know, maybe they like maybe all publishers they just realized that it's better to announce things that are just right around the corner, like the Mafia 1 remake, the Mario paper game, than the way how they announced the state of play. Like we didn't have to wait too long for those. So if they, because
Yeah.
I don't know what's their strategy, but I like things being this way. So maybe they like all the big publishers are going to do the same throughout the rest of the year.
I kind of like that Nintendo's just doing their own thing and just like, oh,
Nintendo
here's
just
a
like,
game.
well, yeah.
Yeah, they're just like dropped in the middle of nowhere and nothing ramping it up.
Yeah, Paper Mario.
It's like, here's a game coming out soon. There you go.
You know, look,
I had
35th.
no idea you guys were even working on that. Awesome.
35th anniversary of Mario, no big deal. Here's another Mario game.
Whilst you were talking and I was getting bored, I just looked up and found inverse.com, every confirmed game announcement and every event happening this summer.
Oh, okay, it's done then. Someone's done it.
Outriders broadcast 1 May. What the hell was that?
It's a game from the Bulletstorm.
IGN Summer of Game happening early June. Not confirmed the dates of that yet. Mystery game announcement happening on 2nd June. So Indie Live Expo, that's what Michael was just talking about. The Guerrilla Collective. What the hell is that? Why is anyone going to get hyped for loads of stuff that no...
I mean, some of the stuff is going to be like, you know...
They can't even get the fucking thing in date order. What the hell is wrong?
Yeah, it looks like I can steal a lot of their content and make it better then. Is that what we're saying?
You know, some stuff people, you know, it pops up a week before. It's like, hey, Sony presentation. People will be ready for that. And then it's like, hey, PC game show or whatever. Like, oh, okay, just not pay attention to that.
I think he's still doing theirs, aren't they? What's it called?
Games Radar and IGN are both doing separate things.
Aren't Devolver still doing their thing as well?
They said they will, but they don't have their own. They are, but they announced that they are going to do it. They just have
so I thought they were.
Yeah.
TennoCon is still going ahead for anyone who plays Warframe. Matt and I did a show with Russ and Julian called No E3, No Problem, and we were all kind of saying, yeah, this is without E3, everyone's going to realize that they don't actually need it. But the more time goes on and the more we get into this, the more I think having something coordinated that brings everyone together is actually really helpful.
Yeah, agreed.
But I think the problem with that is we're in a very unnatural year, like with coronavirus and everything. I think it's thrown everything into disarray.
I don't necessarily agree, because people were talking about, E3 is going to die, EA left, Xbox have technically left, Sony are off doing their own thing.
I mean, but Nintendo, they still were going to go, right, for 2020.
Yeah.
And PlayStation won't.
Yeah.
No, there would have been no PlayStation presence whatsoever.
Yeah, they would have done it before, but I didn't think they were going to do it actually at E3.
I mean, it's just
they're just going to do their state of play during E3 week, which is what they did last year.
Yeah, true.
But the more time goes on and the more piecemeal we're getting this stuff, the less interested I am by it.
Mm.
And maybe that's just me being a miserable bastard.
Well,
I think you're right. E3 for me was like gaming Christmas, and you got all these games, or even if there are future announcements, you got to see a lot of stuff. Things that you may be obscurely interested in, like unlike other people, you got everything there that you could kind of filter through, and it was really good. And now you're just waiting, and you're like one piece.
Yeah, I mean, I'll still stand with what I was saying, that we don't need E3, but I think having something coordinated, even if it is digital only events, there still needs to be some type of structure and some type of plan in place, right?
Sure.
Even if it's just Sony shit, Sony's got to have all their shit in order where, like, okay, on this date, this is coming out. On this date, this is coming out. Microsoft, like, they kind of botched whatever the hell their event was called. I don't even, Xbox Digital.
Inside Xbox?
Inside Xbox.
Whatever, yeah. Doesn't matter. I don't remember what the hell it was called. they didn't have a very good coordinated effort to get this shit out. And
They didn't even have good mics for the fucking employees.
Yeah,
Right,
because
exactly.
for me,
So-
it was like, why did they need to do that then? Like, surely they could have spent another month on it, got everyone
they
the
could have,
appropriate
yeah,
equipment, and then released it a lot better. Or
Well,
the day before. Like, why didn't that happen the day before July? The other when they're releasing everything else. So then you've got that, but then rather than waiting 2 months before you actually show us everything.
Yeah, this is the other thing that I'm finding confusing. So you're going to have. So you've got Ubisoft showing stuff at Microsoft's third-party thing. Then you've got Ubisoft doing their own event, and then potentially you'll have Ubisoft showing off more stuff at Sony or the PC Gaming Week or whatever the fuck you want to call it.
Yeah.
I understand that's how it's always worked potentially, but one thing that I'm really struggling with is the inclination to start diary managing myself to ensure that I can pick out to watch the bits live that I want to watch live. So I was just thinking, screw it, I'm not going to watch any of it live, and I'll watch the archives of everything. And
I'll wake up and click on the link that Liam sends me in the middle of the night. So
yeah, and then if there's anything that I used to do this with the Ubisoft E3 press conferences. Oh right, Just Dance, scrub. Oh, that looks interesting. Watch that. No,
yeah,
scrub.
Yeah.
And I just do that, and I don't. It diminishes the value of having anything as a live event. You might as well go.
You're right about the live thing for sure.
Well, we might as well just not do it live and just release it on YouTube, wherever you're going to release it, the whole thing, the whole file, and then people go, it's live now. The whole file's live now, and people could do that.
Recorded.
Yeah,
but there needs to be some structure to that as well. So this is why I think Sucker Punch did such a good job.
The Ghost of Tsushima,
yeah.
That's probably the best one so far. Yeah,
it was definitely the best one so far.
Yeah.
And it was only.
I was just saying, I think that next year will be the ultimate test of whether like this can work, because I don't think they will have such a chaotic sort of schedule next year, and I don't think it'll be nearly as spread out. I think they'll pick a week in June and just go, here's everything. It's not E3. I mean, there probably will be an E3, but it's not E3. But here we're putting out all of this information. Maybe some people will do it a little bit later.
Again, I don't know if I'm just being too demanding on billion-dollar companies to get their shit together.
Well, I think it's not really about the companies themselves. It's more about, these people operating under like what coronavirus has left them with. They have to do all these things remotely from their homes.
What confuses me
I don't know. Maybe I'm again being too demanding, but I don't think that if you come up with a structured so a wise man once told me, died of coronavirus, lovely man. A wise man once told me, there's the best solution, there's the doable solutions, so you need to come up with the best doable solution. So if that means not hyping something and just coining the phrase shadow drop, right, tomorrow there's going to be a half an hour state of play, and it's going to cover 4 previously unannounced Sony games. That's a much better way to do it than say, we may have something in 2 months' time, but we're not quite sure, and we're not quite sure what's going to be in it. How did we as consumers deal with that? We tune out.
Keith,
yeah,
to be fair to Sony, that's what they seem to be doing. I think
and this is why I use Sony as an example.
Yeah, Xbox have seemed to do. I don't know why Xbox need to tell us that they're going to do the blowout. Sorry, Xbox need to tell us that they need to do the blowout in July. Why couldn't they just go? It'll be at some point in the summer. And I don't know why it has to be in July. Or they're not ready for June.
That is the thing. It was supposed to be in June, but it got delayed to July because of coronavirus.
Yeah.
I mean, they could have
that presentation at the beginning of May. That presentation at the beginning of May was always going to happen exactly then, but it wasn't going. The reason they turned it into this great big Xbox Series X gameplay reveal bullshit is because they're like, oh no, we've got to delay it to July. Now we need to satiate our fans.
Yeah, but
with this
they
bullshit.
shouldn't. That's the problem. They're doing that, and also
It was
it's
bad
because
management.
we're between generations. They're all petrified. Oh, Sony and Xbox are playing chicken with each other. We can't announce first. We can't announce first. We can't. And actually, when they were scheduled, you have to do a press conference there that time. You couldn't really do that. Now they're like, oh, we don't want to say anything before Sony do, or because they're all playing price chicken with each other. It's driving around the bend.
Yeah.
I think that's more the issue
And
why they
also-
pushed it. I think they
also
blame the
the fans are
coronavirus, but I think if they wanted to put it together by June, they could have done.
Well, I think that
There's enough people working in the company.
I disagree with that. I think that it does take a lot of time to organise these events. You've got to think about, especially if people want gameplay, they've got to cut trailers, they've got to get vertical slices of
But they would
gameplay.
have most of that. But they would have most of that stuff done already.
No,
wouldn't they?
most of that stuff every single year is normally down to the last minute. Like
Oh, okay.
it literally
Yeah,
happens
which is
overnight.
why Sucker Punch did such a good job.
Yeah, well, there we go.
Either how far in advance. It would be interesting to know how far in advance they had that ready compared
not very.
to.
They always
Well,
want the newest playable build of their game to show it
But
being
Liam-
more representative of the
Yeah, but if
release
it's
quality.
it would have been the difference between, say, a day, 2 days, a week, 2 weeks. So
but
because
Liam-
how much time?
Sorry. That point being though, if Cyberpunk did it very recently, why can't Xbox?
No, but that's the beauty of keeping quiet. You surprise people and tell them
Yeah.
a few days before
Yeah.
you're ready.
Sure.
It's
Yeah.
true.
There's no expectation there because it's just sprung on you.
Yeah, it's a good point.
Can I play?
Evan, were you
devil's
raising
advocate?
your hand?
Yeah, I was like, why did I raise my hand? I guess it worked. So, anyways, can I play a devil's advocate with this piecemeal stuff?
Yeah.
I think it's the difference between
Don't
having
mention Scorn.
No, I'm saying I will not mention Scorn. I apologize for being so explicit. The goal for that was to be as explicit as the artwork, the visuals were themselves, but that didn't really carry over to what else. Anyways, so the idea of concentrating all this news in 1 week versus piecemeal stuff, I think is slightly analogous to how streaming services either like drop a single season on one day versus maybe like The Last Dance or The Mandalorian, spacing it out like we normally consumed entertainment, before streaming hit, where it's like, tune in Monday, 7, 8 Central. That's a fucking Midwest thing. But I think there's good points and bad points to both of those things, where I remember when I first started watching stuff on Netflix, I was like, whoa, I can watch the entire season in one go. This is great. I can binge this, and everyone uses that word now. And then after a while, it was almost like I can't help myself but like watch too much of it, and then there's nothing left. And one thing about The Last Dance, the Chicago Bulls, Michael Jordan documentary, which is great, by the way.
Oh, I thought it was a documentary about Ubisoft's Just Dance game.
The Last Dance, the fucking panda. I liked that they released 2 episodes every single week. And the same with The Mandalorian. Not only that, I didn't even watch both our episodes in a single day. I spaced them out in 2 days. And it does a couple things. Same with The Mandalorian. You only have a specific amount of the show to talk about for that week, and that gets loaded onto podcasts. And instead of the week of E3 having a Giant Bomb podcast or an IGN podcast or anything, having it say, our impressions of the Ubisoft conference, Sony conference, etc. Now it says, instead of saying the Sony conference, it says Ghost of Tsushima. It's giving Ghost of Tsushima own section in that week because there's nothing else for them to talk about. So in that way, I actually think that it's good that they're stretching this out. Like, I listen to Jim Rome, is a very popular sports radio broadcaster, and every single week
Never heard of him.
Oh, he's great. He's great. He's one of the best. But
he's famous, yeah.
Yeah, every single Monday he does take on the 2 episodes of The Last Dance, and that has stretched out for an entire month, and everyone's waiting for that content instead of it just being talked about for a solid week and then moving on.
playing devil's advocate to Evan's devil's advocate.
Nice. I like that.
That would work in situations where, and I've got a prop, someone gets hooked by it.
What are you, Mitch now? Just pulling shit from the side.
I do agree with this point.
That's a good point. If you're not hooked to the idea,
if you're not hooked, you're
more.
totally disinterested. You just disengage. And I am at the point now, whereas if you're going to do something piecemeal, you need that regular content to hit.
And
So
good.
that is also very true. Yeah.
It needs to be good and worth watching, which I think we've established is not the case.
Well, and knowing when it's on, right? If you say Seinfeld's
Yeah.
on, why am I saying Seinfeld? But like, it's on Sunday nights at 8. Like, you tune in on Sunday night at 8, you know.
I'm trying to think of what else I've got within reaching distance, and the only thing I've got is my sunglasses.
It's true, because when Keely announced his initiative, and then we had the first 2 weeks, I thought it's going to be the same day every week.
Yeah,
and
That would have been a good idea.
Week, it was like so slim, and he was now, what's going on? So yeah, I do agree with both of you. It has to be like a structured schedule and have everything ready weekly. And I also agree with the fact that this way, like, every single game gets its own spotlight, and people can focus more on it rather than have everything at once and things to be lost between the cracks.
Because one question back on that one, Michael. Do we think then that we've not heard about what IGN or GameSpot are doing their own things? We've not heard anything from them about what their schedules are going to look like. And is that because they're sat behind the scenes working out that schedule? So they're going, because they're media companies, they're going to have everything lined up. Is that what we think's going on? Because I'm slightly surprised as why we've not heard anything from GameSpot or IGN about what they're going to do.
That's got to be it, no? I mean,
that's just you suspect. And maybe what they can't announce is because Sony or someone else is going to say something before. I don't know.
I honestly
can't actually.
Yeah, maybe they also know something about the.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
The other
so maybe they're under embargo.
Sorry, what did you say, Liam?
I said I don't have any confidence in those events whatsoever. I think people are going to be very disappointed. I don't think there's going to be anything there.
Yeah, and then you get
weird.
You get weird stuff of like Assassin's Creed, like Ubisoft doing the Assassin's Creed Valhalla thing, and then it showing the next week on Inside Xbox, but like no more content. Like, that's kind of strange.
I just think people need to greatly decrease their expectations when it comes to anything other than the marquee, like, PlayStation event, Xbox event.
Solid
Ubisoft
advice.
are doing their event. People just need to calm down. Everybody's so hungry for information about next-gen games right now, to the point where they're letting it get out of hand, and they're just like freaking out at any small announcement and just treating it like that's going to change everything. And it's just like, calm
combination
down, just wait for the big events.
Yeah, the combination of like no E3 and.
Could you imagine what FIFA packs are going to look like in 4K 124 frames a second?
Oh man!
So we'll find out at EA's event.
And also no COD announcement yet, and that's very normal, because normally they announce in May. So you've got all those COD players. I know Warzone's there now, so people are distracted, but there will be ones thinking, what does the next COD look like on next gen?
Evan, do you want to correct the science teacher in his mispronunciation?
On normal?
So he said it's abnormal, not abnormal.
No, I think. It's
fine. I'm just being my general level of shittiness.
I'm very confused. I didn't know what I said, so now I've just confused myself completely.
I think
but okay.
Dan had said the word, and he knew that wasn't a word, but he just went with it because he's like, whatever. We all know what I mean, type of thing.
Yeah, thank you, Evan.
Yeah,
because I've forgotten what I said.
See, and that's why Evan's a supportive. He supports a learning environment, and I'm just a condescending git.
Well, we wouldn't be the same without you. That's part of the charm, isn't it?
That's very true.
Thanks everyone for disagreeing.
Otherwise, we'd just be another boring podcast.
With yeah,
is that the new title? Just another boring podcast. That'd be great.
It's not bad. I have a slight confession to make. A slight confession. What the fuck does that mean? I love. It's embarrassing. I love watching reaction videos. Like I am part of the problem with YouTube.
Yeah, I'm part of the
I
problem
fucking
as well.
like, and so that's why. Like I was playing devil's advocate about the piecemeal stuff, but I actually kind of like it because it does give each of those things room to breathe a bit. And I'll sit there and watch the Unreal Engine 5 and the Ghost of
Reaction.
Tsushima demo. I'll watch Easy Allies. I'll watch Giant Bombs, and I just go all the way down the line to see everyone's reaction for those videos. I'm part of the problem. I feel dirty when I watch all of those, but the idea of spacing this out, and it's not Ghost of Tsushima in Sony's presentation. It's its own separate thing. It gives me more stupid reaction videos to watch. So like I like that it's being it's at a slower piecemeal pace. However, in the whole, it's not the best way to do this. I do agree.
Playing
with
devil's advocate to Evan's devil's advocate again. I fucking hate reaction videos.
They're terrible, but I love them.
I was trying to
They're
find
so bad.
Reaction
I was on
reaction
YouTube.
videos are the reality TV of YouTube.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, basically.
It's dirty.
So when are we starting our reaction videos channel?
That's what I was thinking. We should watch one of
Very
these
soon.
crappy things together, and we can react appropriately towards them.
People love
course,
watching
people
that
watch Tony Hawk.
shit. It's
That's not a bad
it's-
idea, actually.
It's trash.
Oh, I
People
know.
love watching it.
Jump on that train. I was trying to find the first summer of games event that Keeley was doing, and literally the only channels that were coming up on my YouTube feed were reaction videos. So all the people watching it live talking over the presentation that was going on. It was
You
like,
couldn't
no,
even
just
find the real
find
thing.
fucking live feed from the people who are doing it. YouTube, you utter bastards.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
frustrating.
Twitter was where you could find it, and also on his website. But yeah, it was hard to find on YouTube. I agree with you there, which is bizarre.
Because I wanted to watch it on my TV and not on my fucking phone. Which is
The reason why it was hard to find on YouTube is because obviously he'd just set that up and it didn't have as many followers as some of these people who are doing their action videos. That's why they were top. Which is
That's
just,
depressing.
like, mind blowing.
All right.
Right. So when are we doing our first reaction video? Can we do a reaction video to someone's reaction video? Has anyone done that before?
Oh,
that sounds really fun.
Sure, but we reactionception.
Yeah, it's definitely been done before.
That's the thing of people trashing each other and then watching the video of someone trashing them and reacting to it and then trashing back to them. I watched one of it was like a YouTuber quarrel.
No.
I felt so dirty for fucking watching this.
We-
It was a
we
YouTube
used to-
quarrel, and it got like 5 videos in. This was way worse than Inception because it went like, what was it, Limbo, right? It went down to Limbo, and I don't think those YouTubers have gotten out of that since. But yeah, it's been done. We could do a reaction video of drinking a new beer for the first time and reacting to the beer while also watching a presentation and react. It's a double reaction.
We would need to
Reaction
find a
action.
niche, like only reacting to reaction videos from Easy A.
Well, there you go. Or like drunk reactions.
We'll just have
Like get hammered and then watch a presentation.
Yeah, that's worthwhile.
Because
Yeah.
whose reactions are we watching? Like, would it be random each time? Like, just
no. We'll
just
have
pick
a
someone?
separate channel for everybody that we're reacting to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. React to Easy A, react to I don't know, Giant Bomb, react to Sifted.
Yeah.
It's like the human centipede.
Evan,
React to
Can I be at the front?
supercomputer.
Can I be at the front, please? I want to be at the front.
that would never work as well. We
Jesus.
can't compartmentalize the human body. It doesn't work that way.
No.
Yeah, the more you think
And
about it.
the idea for that came from a scientific study in what was it, locusts, where you could actually dissect different parts of a locust and attach them to different dissected parts of locusts, and the animal would still survive because insect morphology works differently to mammalian morphology, and insects have these things that are called cerebral ganglion. So that's like having a nerve cluster. It's like a mini a mini brain in different parts of their body that controls different aspects of that segment of their body's function. So that's why you can dissect a head and attach a body of a locust to another part of a locust body, and it will still react because you've got these different nerve clusters that will actually work independently from one another.
Why do you know that?
Years ago, I watched a documentary on
in my research into dissecting people,
it just didn't work. It didn't work, and I wanted to know why. So I started researching locusts.
That's rather interesting because I found out about that. I was also aware of that. Years ago, I watched a Volvo documentary, and they wanted to implement that to their cars so that cars won't ever be involved in car accidents. Like all the cars on the motorway would be aware of other cars, because when locusts fly together, they never actually run into each other. Somehow they all are aware of each other and stay within like a fixed distance of each other. So they were researching that to do the same with sensors for their cars.
That sounds like the that algorithm they got going on in Unreal Engine 5 with the birds flying in the air.
Yeah. So
triangles.
that you never get anything with the bugs and bats and
yeah.
But we shouldn't be afraid of coronavirus. We should be afraid of the bugs uprising.
But we've done about an hour.
Stop talking about games.
And haven't really said much of anything. Are we gonna get on to the rebranding?
This is why this is the last episode of Beerumverate. Because things are
going to
talk
change about what the Beerumverate will be in the future.
Different.
Watch this space.
Sure, you don't want to go out of a wet fart.
Is it well? Well, I think we've kind of got a name, haven't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
So
thanks
for
Mike's Q.
the for the podcast anyway. So it's thanks to Mike's Q. We're going to swap the words around. So pixels and pints podcast going forward.
Yeah.
Matt and I have been looking up potential names of a website. I just like to hate GoDaddy for a second for seemingly blanket buying pixels and pints and pints and pixels and every combination thereof. So we're looking at potential having our own website. Matt and I exchanged some ideas for potential different bits of content that we could do. So one of them is games as beers as games.
Yeah.
Cool.
I think we should also talk about how we're moving away from my YouTube channel and Pixels and Pints or Pints and Pixels or whatever we want to call it is going to be its own thing. I also think we should move to Twitch instead of YouTube.
Because if you're not called Jeff Keighley.
Right. We may still post to YouTube. It may still have its own YouTube channel, but I think we're going to focus on the Twitch crowd because we do this live every week.
And it's easier to get live eyeballs on if we just tag it as just chatting. And
yeah, YouTube tends to. This is something that I've learned over the last year. They tend to deprioritize live videos. So even the live archive stuff.
I didn't know that.
I've just ruined 2 beers. So I had the remnants. I had the remnants of an Italian lager, and I just poured it into a glass that I was drinking the Hazy Jane IPA out of.
Oh no!
I just ruined terrible. 2 beers. It's not good.
Yeah, it's not Scotch. I don't know if you can blend beers.
I'm still going to drink it.
Oh, totally. Drink it, please.
Now, and I had to get my one interruption of Matt in.
It's tradition.
Which will be part of the show moving forward, of course. That's the reason we did it. It's an example. It's a good example.
So one thing we should do as well is because if we're thinking about doing some written articles, if we're going to do web stuff, so I'm quite happy to do say like 500-600, maybe 1,000 words every week, because it's not a lot. I mean, fucking hell, I write presentations and reports pretty much for a living, or not at the moment. So yeah, 1,000 words, knock that out in an afternoon.
Right.
Less. And then I could, whenever Matt wrote an article, I could just get into the website and just put my interruption into his written article.
There you go.
Yes. So yeah, we'll probably move to Twitch. Do we want to talk about access? Who do we want? Because we don't want just any random pleb having access to stuff.
Well, we can talk about that offline.
Yeah.
Do you want to end the episode?
Yeah, because we can pick who our favourites are, can't we?
Yeah.
There you go.
Bribery is encouraged. So one thing so once we decided on a name, I was going to set up some dedicated social media pages.
Yeah.
And then I was just going to share those login details with people, so anyone can go in and post.
So it could be any one of our faces on that social media page.
Yeah. Well, I was just going to pick some some random images on. I was just going to look at Twitter and Instagram. Does anyone look at Facebook anymore? I haven't looked at Facebook in weeks.
I don't know. I don't have a Facebook account.
I do.
Just use it
I
to
mean,
talk to friends.
I'm on a few groups.
I do, but
yeah, I tried to.
feels like Twitter and Instagram are probably more. Don't know.
Yeah.
I would say that those are the two.
Yeah.
So yeah, Twitter, Instagram. If we were ambitious, we could do Reddit. I'm not sure what other social media is out there that would be
Useful.
Yeah.
Tinder.
Well,
We could have our own Discord channel.
And then it's just random who you go on a date with now, Jake. One of the 10.
A dedicated Discord channel.
Yeah, Discord, right? We already.
Yeah,
we'll just rebrand the current one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll
Yeah.
run the current Discord. Maybe we can break that up and change the access on the Discord itself. If we start to get an audience, people might want to jump in. So we might want to have channels available to everybody.
Yeah.
That's
But,
a smart
uh,
idea.
Yeah, as the audience grows, we can always address that down the road.
Assuming the audience grows.
I'm just going to. I'm just going to assume that that's what's going to happen.
Well, so I don't know if I'm growing at the moment because I haven't been doing anywhere near as much exercise. So does that mean our audience is growing?
I don't know if those things are connected, to be honest.
What are some of the other ideas? Oh, no, we need to write, whenever we write a contract for anything, we need to make sure that Mike Stew signs over the naming rights.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Because I don't want him coming back suing us in a few years' time for when we blow up. I gave those assholes a name.
You know, he screen capped that the second he was like, that is exactly the name. Well, they might switch it around. He's like, screen cap. I got proof.
It's quite funny. When I was playing Fortnite yesterday, when Liam was on with my best mate. Liam, what's his name?
David.
Yeah, well done.
Hey.
He called him Daniel. It's like, mate, we've been on at this. His name was mentioned on a quiz. He got the question wrong. And his brother. And I was just saying, because he asked, "Are you doing a podcast?" And I said, "Yeah, but we're going to rebrand it." And it's like, right, what's the name they're going to use? So it's like Pints and Pixels or Pixels and Pints. And it's like, yeah, that's great.
That's a good barometer.
It's a good name.
Yeah. And so whatever one you came up with, this is a kind of damnation on me as a person. It's you were trying to be way too clever.
Yeah, I do agree with that.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like
I'm not talking to Liam anymore. I'm just going to refer to him in the third person.
Wait, are you talking about the Beerumverate, the name?
Yeah.
I didn't even know what a triumvirate was. I had to fucking look it up, to be honest with you.
I knew
was like,
exactly
oh,
what it was, and I was totally on board,
I-
which is why
No,
this
I have to
existed.
look it up.
Yeah.
Total. I'm not even gonna lie. Yeah, I was like, what the
Yeah.
fuck? And I was like, oh, it comes from triumvirate. The three of us. Okay, beer.
Yeah.
I like the name. Well, whatever. Like, there's a band called Korn. Like, how do you get away from that? And then it becomes its own thing. You flip the R around. You fucking spell it with a K. You're set.
Yeah.
And when you think of Korn the band, you don't think of the food. You think
Yeah,
of Korn the
true,
band. So
true.
eventually it becomes its own thing. Doesn't matter.
Evan, I don't know if you've tried hydroxychloroquine for your obvious different mental disorders about watching reaction videos, 2 thinking of Korn. When you think of Korn the food, you think of Korn the band.
I had does anyone have a specific 2 words that they always flip around? For me, since I was young, I don't know if I got like hit in the face with the dodgeball when the teacher was teaching East and West, but I always have to think about the 2. And my friend Dane, God rest his soul, he always confused pears and peaches for whatever reason.
No, I had a thing when I was younger that where if I was writing, it would be totally random. If I was writing a B or a D, I'd swap them. So
yeah, it's this weird thing. Like when you learned it, something got screwed
up. That's a dyslexic tendency. Keith.
Yeah, and that's why I thought that I've possibly got some mild form of dyslexia.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's very common. The B and the D.
I have a grasp on East and West now, but it took like my whole life. It took like 30 years.
It took moving to Japan.
I was like, oh,
this way.
As far east as possible.
America is in the west.
I think I have the same thing with
but actually also in the east.
Because I can think right away of where I need to think of the map, and then it's clear. So there's still like a middle thing that I'm doing. It's not instant, but yeah. Maybe there are.
We're still live.
We are still live. Yeah.
All right. Sorry for that.
Yeah.
Anyways,
so we've done what we normally do. Totally moved on from what we're meant to be talking about. Matt, is there anything else that we've made the announcement that we're going to change the name, which makes way more sense than the overcomplicated, overly clever, but still clever. Fuck you, still clever. Clever was in there.
It's a good name. I love the name. Yeah.
Name that I came up with. We're looking at setting up a website. We're going to do dedicated social media.
Audio.
Yeah, that was the other thing.
Yeah.
Look to strip out an audio podcast.
Yeah, so the idea will be it'll still be live on Twitch. You can watch it just like you do now on YouTube live or the archive. But then maybe a day later, the audio feed will go up, and hopefully you'll be able to listen to it on Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, whatever.
Matt, if you're doing this through Zoom, does it not automatically strip the audio out anyway?
No, if you stream to Twitch, and Twitch had the archive version.
Oh, okay. That's what I wondered. Because I know when I stream lessons straight to my PC, I get the audio, so I upload that and also the video one as well.
Yeah, but I've got to splice in
of course,
the music and all that stuff too.
Yeah,
so
makes sense.
Yeah. But anyway, that's the plan.
One point that I made is that the more that we talk about this, the more it seems like work.
Yeah,
it is work, Keith. If you want viewers and listeners, we're gonna have to work towards that.
Well, just space out the work. Don't. I think it's one of those things like, oh yeah, I'm totally gonna do it, and then you get a week where you're really busy at work, and you're like, fuck, I can't do it. So it's best to spread out the work, but make sure, whatever task you're given that you get it done.
Yeah, I mean, I've always kind of said, this thing, the Beerumverate, is just an excuse to get drunk and talk about video games. But if the goal is to actually have people interested in what we have to say and put out a product, like I'm down to do that, and I'm down to put in the work.
Yeah, and I'd be happy to do some streaming.
Yeah, that's the other thing too. I mean,
Yeah.
since we're
Could
all
stream some Dauntless.
since we're all over the world, yeah, and if each of us has access to the Twitch channel, we can stream at all different hours.
Not a
Hope
bad
people are
idea.
interested that way too. So
Actually, an excuse to get drunk and talk about video games is a good tagline for something. Put that in your back pocket.
Well, that should be the
it should go
tagline on the
somewhere.
website. Or is it about us? We started off as an excuse to get drunk and talk about video games. It's turned into something different.
That should be
Basically, yeah.
That should be somewhere. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So, what would we be looking for people? I don't know. Ideas about web design potentially. Rafa and Vin are going to meet up online and have some kind of knife fight. I heard, or.
graphic design battle challenge.
Graphic design battle.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we're trying to think up ideas for content, ideas for design, and then if anyone's got any ideas that they would like to put forward, these random bunch of arseholes that could possibly do. As you do realise that we're quite talentless, really.
Mm.
So whilst Michael can actually do something talented for a living, the rest of us are pretty useless.
Look, I can't I don't even know which way this world map. I don't know which way's up. I don't even know east to west. How the fuck am I going to hang this?
Well, actually, at the moment, east is north. Is that right?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
God damn it! The zipper's stuck on the bottom. I can't even pick it up.
There you go.
Yeah, perfect.
Well, that's really the right way up. Yeah. Now south is north.
If you were doing that as
this is the world right now.
Yeah, is it not a geopolitical map? That would probably be the right way up.
I think I nailed
it. Freeze frame that.
So if you can actually spot the UK off the coast of France, the UK's too good.
The UK map as well, because the UK map, UK's in the middle. You go to China, China's in the middle. Some American maps, America's in the middle. It depends where it's put.
You know, it's weird though. This is the map that I was always familiar with.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, that's a geopolitical one. If you actually flip, if you took it by landmass.
Oh right, yeah, it's totally off.
The
right?
southern hemisphere would be way bigger.
And those